Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet the triple braided cowl. Now there are two versions of this cowl. You see this one here with the 3 braids and wooden beads and this nice fringe, but then you can also have instructions for how to make this here. Same triple braids, but it does not have the fringe and it has 3 sparkly buttons. So either one you can make using this video. I'll show you how to do the cables with the post stitches, and it's only a 2-row repeat. So once you get the hang of it, you'll be golden and be able to finish this cowl in no time. So make sure to subscribe or give us a thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy making this cowl. It's fun to wear and fun to crochet. Let's get started. To make the triple braided cowl, you're going to need 3 balls of Red Heart Amore yarn. I chose the color Restful for this project. This yarn is so soft. It's like butter. And then you're also going to need a size I or 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And then you'll need 3 decorative buttons. You could use a wood look like here, or if you wanted to use a different color yarn, you could use some sparkly buttons like these. And then you'll also need a tapestry needle and some scissors. To start this pattern, you'll put your slip knot on your hook and you'll chain 30. That's 10. That's 20. Okay, so there we have a chain of 30. And then you're going to double crochet in the 3rd chain from your hook. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, put my hook in, yarn over, pull through the chain, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm going to continue that all the way across. So I have a base row of just double crochet. So now that I've completed this first row, I'm going to have 29 double crochets plus this little turning chain right here at the end of those 2 chains. Let me show you something about a braid and cables. As you can see, if you look carefully at a braid, you see that there's a cross here, and then the next row the cross is here, and then the cross is here, and then the cross is here. So for a braided cable like this, you only have a 2-row repeat because you need to cross the 2 strands of the braid here, and this one is regular straight up and down, and then the next row these 2 cross and this one is straight up and down. And by putting them all together, you don't even notice the crosses, you just see the braid. But that's how a braid is built. And then as you can see with this pattern, there are 3 braids. So this here is one set, another set, another set, but it all is the same and it repeats. These are 9 stitches here, 9, 9. And then each strand of the braid is 3 stitches. So you have 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, with 1 on this end and 1 on this end. So 27 here, and then plus 1 plus another. To work the cables in this project, you're going to need to do some post stitches. They can be a little tricky, but I think if you watch along, you'll see that it makes sense and creates the braided look. The nice thing is that each section is repeated 3 times, and then every row is repeated every other row. So it's a 2-row repeat with the same thing happening across each row 3 times. So now we're working row 2 of the project. We're going to chain 3, and this counts as the first double crochet. Then we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to work around the next 3. And we're not going to work into the top of the stitch like you normally would. We're going to work around the post of the stitch. So we're going to do front post trebles. We yarn over twice, then we're going to put our hook into the right of the stitch, around the back, and out to the front. Yarn over, pull through. Now I have 4 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now that creates a slanted post stitch, and we're going to do that 2 more times. Around the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and around the next one. This project is done in sets of 3, so that'll help keep you on track with your stitches. Now we need to go back to those 3 that we skipped right here, and we're going to do the same thing around those. Yarn over twice, put my hook in, around the back, out to the front, yarn over, pull through, then through 2, through 2, through 2, and here are the next 2. Yarn over twice, hook in, around the back, out to the front, and then pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and then the last one we skipped. So that's another set of 3. And that creates a cross. Now we have 3 more stitches here, and we're just going to do the front post trebles right around those. So now you can see that we have front post trebles here that went in front of the first ones we made, and then regular straight up and down front post trebles. We're going to repeat that 2 more times across the row. So we're going to skip the next 3, then do front post treble around these 3. This first row is setting up the pattern for the post stitches. So there you can see we skipped 3 and we went in the next 3. That makes them slant. See how they're slanted? And now we have to go make the cross in front. Now this you might think is a little tricky. That's why you do a lot of cables by feel. So I know I'm going to work around these 3 stitches right here. So I'm going to use as many fingers as I can to hold that right there. And that helps me guide my hook. I've grabbed onto the stitch I'm working around. Don't worry about all the others. And now I feel for the next one right here. yarn over twice, put my hook in there, and that last one that we skipped. Remember, everything's in groups of 3. And there we have the second crossing. And now for the last set of this braid, we have 3 more stitches, and we do front post treble around those 3. So you can see how we're setting up for the braid. So now we've completed the 3 sections. You can see here the cross and then 3 regular front post trebles. The crossing, 3 regular, crossing, 3 regular, and then at the very end of the row we have the turning chain right here. See that? I did my last 3 front post trebles, and now I'm going to do a double crochet in the top of that turning chain. And now you've completed row 2. So here is the finished row 2, and we're going to turn it over. This is what your project should look like on the back. Because we did post stitches all the way across, you get this ridge. But this won't show because this is a one side only project, so this will be on the wrong side. So since we can't have everything pop out on both sides, we want to make sure that our cables are always showing on the right side. So all the even rows are going to be the right side. We're going to start row 3 by chaining 3, and it starts and is very similar to row 2. We're going to skip the first 3, and then we're going to work around the next 3. This is where it might get a little tricky. See these 3 that are slanted over? Those are not the next 3. The next 3 are the ones that are behind, that are slanting on the right side. These 3 here. So a lot of times when I work on cables, I like to flip it like so, so I can see, okay, where am I working in relation to the right side of the project. So if you look on the right side, you can easily see, skip these 3, work around the next 3. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to yarn over twice, and now I'm going to do a back post treble crochet. It's basically just working the opposite of the front post. We don't want things to pop out on this side, we want them to pop out back here. So I'm going to put my hook around the post from the back, around to the front side, and back out to the back. See how I'm on the back side, which is really the front side. Yarn over, pull my hook through, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. Then I'm going to do that around the next one. Again, I can feel everything here with my non-dominant hand. Yarn over twice. I like to turn it a little bit so I can find that post stitch. So I'm coming from the back, around the front side, back out to the back, just like this. Yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on the hook, complete the treble crochet as usual. And then if I look, see how I've worked around this one and this one, and by doing that, and all with the same color, they just blend right together and give that illusion that it's been braided. So I have one more here to do. Remember, our braid cords are sets of 3. Yarn over twice, put my hook back and around, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on my hook, and complete as usual. Now we've skipped these 3 stitches, remember. So this is the trickiest part. We need to go back and work around these by doing a back post treble. So I'm going to yarn over twice. But what I have to do is I have to get these out of the way because I want to do everything so it's laying on top when it's on the right side. So what I do is I move these out of the way like this, and now I can see those 3 that I skipped, and I'm going to just work around them like that. It might feel a little awkward to you at first. You'll get the hang of it. I'll show it to you again. So, it looks kind of mangled, right? I'm just going to push the ones that we did first. See how I'm pushing them behind the ones I just did so it can cross over. So we can have that second row of crossing. And then on this side, see how they're slanted? So when you have a cross, they have to be slanted. Now, one thing to keep in mind, even though we're flipping this back and forth, we're actually doing the crosses at the beginning of every cord. So we cross, and then we do straight up and down. And we flip, so now even though it's backwards and reverse on the other side, it's the same on this side. I know it sounds confusing, but just trust me. You're always going to cross first and then do the straight section second. So now we find our next 3, which they're right here. And again, if we flip over, we can see the cross. Here we are. We worked over those first 3 and made sure they laid down on top of the first 3 we did. And now the next 3, we can see them easier over here. See? 1, 2, 3. And we'll just do the back post trebles like we did before. But no crossing here. So yarn over twice, go from the back to the front, around to the back, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, yarn over twice, from back to front, around to the back again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. So there, we've completed the first 9 stitches, which is the first braid. If we turn it over and take a little peek, we can see here's the cross right here, the crossing that we created the first cable row, row 2, and then here's the second cross, and the crosses are going to alternate. This side, then this side. Next row, this side, then this side. Now we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So here we have the first 3 stitches, and we're going to skip those, and we're going to find the next 3. Remember, these are the last 3. So the middle 3 are hiding back here. We can see them if we turn. Here they are. They're slanted over from the cross. So yarn over twice, put my hook around that one, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and do that 2 more times. We can always turn it over to check, and sure enough, there they are connected. You can see right here. Now we're going to go back to those 3 that we skipped. So by turning it over a little bit, grabbing onto the stitch I want, yarn over, and just go right around. Use my fingers. There's the next one. Grab hold of it, yarn over twice, around the post, another one, grab the next one. You'll love working with this yarn. It is so soft. Any medium weight yarn would work though. And there we go. I finished the 3 first ones that we skipped of this set. Now I go back to the next 3. Here they are. So here are the 6 that are crossed and the last set of 3 for our last cord of the second braid. Hook around the post and then pull through 2, through 2, through 2, yarn over twice, yarn over twice, and there we have the next braided section. We can turn it over to check. So see how the cross happens, then the 3 straight, then the cross, then the 3 straight. So I'll do it one more time, and that'll take me to the end of row 3. Now remember, this is the wrong side of the project, so you're not going to see the braids here at all. Looks kind of messy, but this is right. Here is that turning chain that we're going to do a double crochet in the top of after we've done all the cables, and then we're going to turn, and there you can see the braids starting to form. A cross here, cross here, cross, 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 cross. So every row you'll have 3 crosses, and they'll alternate with the row before. Now we're just going to repeat row 2. So we chain 3, counts as the first double crochet. We're going to skip the first 3, and then we're going to work around the next 3. See how these pop out? This is easy. Once it starts looking like a braid, you'll see that it's easy to find where to go next. I also find that the right side of this project goes very quickly because you can see everything. Front post stitches tend to be fast. So I went around those 3. Now I have to go back to the ones we skipped. Just use that non-dominant hand to help guide where you're going to go. Pinch or push forward with your middle finger that stitch. That really helps you find the right place. When you crochet, you should always have both hands working well together. So, skipped 3, worked around 3, went back to the 3 skipped. Now we have to find the next 3. And some people get confused and think it's these 3, but it's not. Remember? Here we go. They're hiding back here. Here are the next 3. So keep that in mind. After you do the cross, you have 3 hiding back here. We can move this bunch out of the way and see them right there. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, hook around, and pull through 2, 3 times. Yarn over twice, hook around, pull through 2, 3 times. And the last one right there. Okay, so there you can see we just did the cross now on the right. So the cross is here on the right, then the crosses on the left, cross on the right. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Now another thing that you could do is you could use a stitch marker or a safety pin, and you can see how they're pulling here. You could put some little markers in there just temporarily. So as you're working across, you can say, oh, here's the marker. I should have 9 stitches here for the first section of the braid. Then you can put another marker right in here and just keep adding them as you work your way up to remind you, okay, now I should have 9 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 9 again. So that's just a little tip to help you remember where you are in the pattern. So here I've done row 2 again, and now I'm at the end where the turning chain is. I'm going to do a double crochet right in the top of that turning chain. Just helps with a nice edge and a border. Chain 3 and turn, and now we're looking at the wrong side again. So I'll show you how to do that beginning part one more time. So we're going to skip the next 3 stitches and we're going to work around the 3 after that. These here are the last 3. Remember, we can turn it up and see the front side and know we have to go around those. We're skipping these. We're going to go around these next. So we yarn over twice and work around like that. One of the things I like about this pattern that makes it go quickly is every stitch after the first row and the ending stitch, of course, the double crochet at the end. Everything else is treble crochets, so you don't have to try to remember. Now we're going to go back and work around these 3 that we skipped. Grab hold of them with your non-dominant hand and put your hook around like that. This is the trickiest part, but you'll get it as long as you know where you're going. So see, can you see the next 3? Here they are. So I'm going to use my fingers to help find where I need to go. And the last one, there it is. Okay, looks a little messy. See, remember, just take your time to lay them the right way. Help the cross out a little bit. There we go. You can feel it again in your fingers. And now we'll work around that last set of 3. Are they over here? Nope, here they are right here. And we're going to do back post trebles around those 2. And there we have our first set all completed. And again, I can flip it over to check. Okay, yep, it's crossing on the opposite side as the row before. And I would continue like that, repeating row 2 and then 3. So row 2 is the right side and row 3 is the wrong side. And you want to go until your piece measures 40 inches. Here's another version that I made without the fringe using different yarn, a soft yarn from Hobby Lobby. Again, any medium weight yarn would work. This one doesn't have as much give as the one the blue one I just showed you, so there's less separation in between. Has a slightly different look. I like both looks. So you'll continue all the way so you have a long rectangle that's 40 inches long. Then you'll fasten off and you'll bring it around. As you can see, you just bring it around so this end meets up with the first 10 rows approximately. So to sew them together, obviously you would use matching yarn, but you would tie a knot like this, and you would weave in the two ends. So I tie a nice tight knot like that, and then I make sure I pick up a few loops on one piece and a few loops on the other, and whip stitch it just like this. And I would go all the way down so it's nice and joined. Of course, again, using a matching color. Okay, so I've finished seaming the cowl right along here. I've woven in all my ends, and if you turn it over, this is what it looks like right there. As you can see, there's the join, and then you have a nice point here. And then next I'm going to add some buttons. I found these nice wooden buttons at Hobby Lobby, and I'll put one each right on that seam so it distracts from the seam, and then line it up. There's 3 braids here, just one in the middle of each braid like that. And I was using a needle. I love these needles when you're using thick yarn, but they're too thick to fit through my button, so I always keep a wide variety of needles in this needle holder, and I found one that was smaller, and again, just test it, fits through. So I'll use a piece of the yarn. Sometimes it's tricky to get the yarn through the needle that has the smaller eye. There are different tricks you can do for this. I just do my best to pull it through like that. I like to start in the center and work my way out. Hold it in place with one hand. Now what I like to do, so it never comes off, or would be very difficult to come off, I'm having the button holes line up, be parallel with the seam. That way they can all look the same. So I'll go through 3 times here, if I can. The yarn makes it tough to go through a 3rd time. Okay, like that. And then on the back, see, I didn't pull it all the way through, and I never put a knot on the back. So this is what I like to do for buttons. It takes a little extra time, but I think it's worth it to make sure they don't come off. So now I have the end that went through that I started with. This is the end that I ended with. Cut them off, and then I tie them in a nice tight double knot. And then I can use the bigger needle, so it goes quicker, to weave these ends in. Remember, weaving ends in, the best way to do it is to go about 1 inch one way, then come back in a Z or a zigzag this way, and then I could even weave that end in too. And sometimes if your end is short like this, I put the needle in first. See how I'm going in and out and hiding it through the stitches, and now I have the eye of the needle ready right there, close to where the short tail is. put it through like that. Can you see that? And then pull it. And then I didn't have to worry about it being so tight and small. And then carefully cut off the remaining part. And I'll go back and do the same thing with this end and with the other two buttons. Okay, now you can see that I've securely put on the 3 buttons, woven in all the ends so you can't see anything. And we're almost finished, but this updated version of this cowl is going to have an optional fringe all the way around. So in order to make the fringe, first you have to cut several pieces of yarn. And I found the easiest way to do it is first decide how long you want the fringe. So this fringe is about 5 to 6 inches, and I know I'm going to double it over. So I want to cut a whole bunch of pieces of yarn like this that are about 12 inches long. So one trick into doing this is to take a book. Here, this is a notebook. It's not quite 12 inches, but I wanted you to be able to see the whole thing. But I took a book that was 12 inches long. Take the yarn and wrap it around like this. And you just wrap it around as many times as you think you'll need. You might have to do a big pile like this, like you see I have, and then after you go around the whole cowl, you might need to make some more. So you wrap and wrap and wrap, and then you use your nice sharp scissors and cut along this edge, hold them carefully, and then you'll cut them over here as well, and then you'll have some even strips of yarn that are all the same size. You didn't have to keep laying them out and cutting, laying them out and cutting. This makes it go much, much quicker. Now when you're going to attach the fringe, I like to use what's called as a lanyard knot. So I take the piece of yarn and fold it in half, and then I have the loop right here. I put my hook through the last stitch on the edge, then put the hook through the loop on my piece of yarn and pull that loop through the stitch. And then I wrap the tail of the fringe around the hook and pull it through that loop, and then tug on it to snug it up. That's called a lanyard knot, and that secures the fringe without having to try to tie a knot, because whenever you tie a knot you get it in a different place every time. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to get it all lined up. So I'll show you how to do that again. So fold the fringe yarn in half so you have a loop. Put your hook through the stitch on the edge and through the loop of yarn. Pull that loop through the stitch. Now you have this long tail. Just yarn over with it as if you're crocheting a stitch and pull it through that loop and keep pulling, and then snug it up. And you just continue that all the way around the scarf. And if you like, you can double up on some of them. You can put 2 pieces of fringe, 2 loops in each stitch if you'd like. And the more you do it, the quicker you get at it. If you had somebody that could help you, they could fold them in half and just hand them to you, so all you had to do was this part, inserting. Or you could lay out, I don't know, fold maybe 10 in half and lay them out on the table, and then you just need to quick grab them and do 10 in a row. But I like the part about maybe getting a friend to help you. You can talk, visit, while you work on your project together, and it'll go quicker because they can do the folding and the handing to you. Here you can see the fringe on this example. I put them fairly close together, but I love the effect. So I hope you enjoyed making the triple braided cowl. Please make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to watch the next video. Thanks for watching!